Hello everyone, my name is Moji. You're watching a Bitcoin Bubble news channel. 10 trillion is the number I want to use right now, right? Because there are 10 trillion ETFs in circulation around the world right now. It's now spread out among many hundred ETFs. One winner doesn't get everything. To be exact, it looks like adding 100 billion won will make the price go from 1 trillion to 10 trillion won. The price will go up 10 times, and each coin will now be worth about 500,000 Bitcoin. Fred Krueger, a famous trader, businessman, and mathematician, says that the Bitcoin supercycle has moved into a new phase. He thinks that the Bitcoin ETF market could hit $50 trillion in the next 10 years. In a detailed mathematical study that he included in one of his projects, Krueger predicts that Bitcoin will grow a lot because it is now seen as a normal financial asset. Demand for Bitcoin is likely to rise as more regular investors use trading methods that are similar to stock trading. This increased buying and selling based on market chances and trends could drive Bitcoin's demand to levels that have never been seen before. Because of this, prices could go through the roof, hitting as much as $500,000 or even $1 million per Bitcoin. Such a big rise in Bitcoin's value could mean a big change away from traditional fiat currencies, showing how important it is becoming in global banking. At Solomon, I worked on the prop desk for 6 years on Wall Street. Brothers and Greenwich Capital Markets, which traded for more than $1 billion in the early 1990s. In terms of the size of the product, that would easily be worth $10 to $20 billion today. I really get that world. I've organized assets and worked on the capital markets desk at Solomon to create new asset classes and products. I also know a lot about the technical side of cryptography and Bitcoin. I have a PhD in math from Stanford and have read all the numbers in the white paper and looked over Satoshi's probability theory. That part makes a lot of sense to me. The third thing is that I know a lot about Bitcoin and the crypto business. I know that people who use Bitcoin hate the word crypto, but this is one community. Some people make wallets. At one point, a lot of people on a blockchain called EOS used a wallet I made. I bought Bitcoin, but I didn't get into it like some other people do. I've been in Bitcoin since 2014. In fact, I bought my first Bitcoin in 2019 and paid a lot of money for it. Holding Bitcoin and getting Bitcoin at all sorts of prices is something I've done before. I bought Bitcoin not long ago, almost at the lowest price at $16,000. Since I bought GBTC, I've made 4 times as much money on it this year as I did last year. I have traded Bitcoin a lot of times. What Bitcoin and Lightning are made of is completely clear to me. I get all of that. What I'm going through is pretty unusual. Some people have worked on Wall Street before. It is James Lavish there, Foss is there. Some people are from Wall Street, but not many of them really get the technical side. It's not that I want to brag, but that's where I come from. I have a unique point of view, and I believe this is the reason for it. It's not very common, but I believe it's true. We should talk about how I think this will go and why I'm so sure of it. It wasn't until 1983 that mortgages became a real business. It was really Larry Fink at First Boston and Lou Ranieri at Salomon Brothers who came up with the idea for the CMO, or collateralized mortgage obligation. There had been Freddie Mac, Ginnie Maes, and Fannie Maes before, but Larry Fink and Lou Ranieri came up with the idea of putting these mortgage stocks into a bond with different tranches so some pay out quickly and others pay out later. This is called a residual class, and it was first done in 1983. In the following 3 years, I worked on the arbitrage desk at Salomon Brothers, where I joined the company. This is why I really deeply understand it. Larry Fink started BlackRock Typo in 1988. As a side note, he offered me a job there, and I took it for one day in 1988 when BlackRock was just getting started. I should also say that BlackRock was started with money from Blackstone. This means that BlackRock and Blackstone are connected, and we'll see more of this in the future. The financialization of real estate in 1997 was another amazing change in the world of finance. We're now talking about the late 1990s or early 2000s, and Sam Zell really made this product. Sam was a real estate investor from Chicago who bought office buildings all over the country, including ones in Los Angeles, Chicago, and New York. He then made a product called elliott that made these office buildings very appealing to regular investors. This was the biggest and most important REIT. There were other REITs, but Sam Zell came up with this one. He sold it to Blackstone in 2007 for what I think was $20 billion. Anyway, he has a great book out. If you Google Sam Zell's books, it's amazing. He died not long ago, but he was a truly bright man. That's how he saw the financialization of real estate working, which changed everything about real estate. These days, REITs own most office buildings. They don't belong to any one person. Trump still owns a few of them, but most of them are built and owned by REITs. These REITs then package and sell the properties as public stocks. The next year, in 1998, Jim Rogers, who also wrote the great book Investment Biker, started the Rogers Total Return ETF. Hence, he saw that people were not putting enough money into things like pork bellies, sugar, wheat, and other things you see in trade places. Because people didn't own them, he made an index and an ETF that tracked them. In other words, this market isn't as important as the mortgage market, and it wasn't even as important as the REIT market that Sam Zell created. But the author was important, which shows that when you have an asset class, it gets turned into money. How big is this ETF market? I think the number I want to use right now is 10 trillion, right? Because there are 10 trillion ETFs in circulation around the world right now, it is now spread out among many hundred ETFs. One winner doesn't get everything. 13 people will want to join this Bitcoin ETF. It's going to be a mix. It looks like some people will buy the Fidelity ETF. The most important ETF is going to be the BlackRock one. And it's not dull at all. We've seen this market grow 10 times since 2003. 20 years ago, this market was very small. In the past 10 years, it has grown by 2 times. Actually, if I had to guess, I think it will probably double again in the next 10 years. Or maybe even triple again. In the next 10 years, I think this 10 trillion number that is being used for these kinds of ETFs and packed goods will likely rise to 50 trillion. So, this is a very, very large pond where you can fish. It's not like only a few people are investing in crypto projects. There are now huge amounts of money coming into this market. The next time around, how much do you think will go into Bitcoin ETFs? Also, for those who don't know, the Bitcoin blockchain has a halvening period that happens every 4 years. Because of this, we often think in terms of sets of 4 years. If prices keep going up and down, I don't know what will happen. In fact, I don't know if it will even matter after the next couple of rounds. For now, let's just think about the next 4 years. And I think more than $100 billion will be put into ETFs over the next 12 months. Just some other people I look up to and admire. Mark Yusko made $3 billion on day one, which is about the same amount of money Michael Saylor has in Bitcoin on Micro Saturday. It's possible that $30 to $40 billion will be invested in Bitcoin by the end of the year. What about in 4 years? I think it will be at least $100 billion, and it could be as much as $300 billion. The $100 billion number, on the other hand, is just a rough guess. We need to know how that $100 billion changes the price of an object whose supply stays the same. You should know that gold supply went up after the GLD ETF came out. It didn't 10x or go up by a lot, but it did go up. There will always be a certain amount of Bitcoin available, and that amount will always be traded on markets. That's right, it looks like getting an extra $100 billion will raise the price from $1 trillion to $10 trillion. It will cost 10 times as much, which will raise the overall market value of each coin to about $500,000. Could it be $200,000 now? Is it $1 million? There's no doubt about it, everything is possible. That's the multiple number, though. Also, I'd like to say, give a shout out to British Hodl. You can look him up on Google. You can do some of this multiplier research on his Twitter account, which is great. Now, if you have $500,000 Bitcoin or 2 million Bitcoin on markets, which is how much